Now, the lines for pre-polling are pretty big around a lot of the country. I've been seeing photos on social media. I've checked out a couple myself. Is that a sign Australians are ready for this election to be over, do you think?
I think that they've been on Easter holidays and while they're going past those polling booths, they're taking their vote. There's no doubt about it. I think we've seen bigger increases over the years for pre-polling rather than people having to go out on a Saturday morning. It suits a lot of parents out there, mate, that have got young kids that have sports and that on those Saturdays and things like that. So I think it's really good. Mind you, we have gone from 3 weeks to 2 weeks, which I think is great as well, because trying to get volunteers over the Easter period and man those booths has been quite difficult.
Yeah.
And I'm sure not just for me, but I am seeing those major parties struggle with that as well.
Yeah, no, it has been an issue. I just wanted to take you to quite a serious topic. I mean, you speak a lot about the armed forces. Should there be a welcome to country on Anzac Day, at Anzac Day ceremonies?
Do you know what? I will leave that for the associations right across, whether it's on Anzac Day or any other time. If you're having a meeting, that I think that's your decision. Whether that's your association, whether you decide whether you want that, whether you want to sing the national anthem. I think that's for people that are in charge of running whatever is going on that day, and that is for them to discuss with those people that do those ceremonies and also with the national anthem. I thought this was going to become a problem in years to come. I can see it's really starting to, rear its ugly head. So I think this will be very interesting over the next months, just to see whether that sort of evaporates and we're not going to talk about that, or whether that's going to become an issue over the next few months.
I was curious of your views. You've spoken about Indigenous issues in the past as well. Do you fear this topic's becoming a political football just because we're in the kind of final spotlight of an election campaign?
Look, I think that, I'm surprised this is becoming a hot topic in the last few days going into the election. It just goes to show you that, how bored people are with policies out there. There's no doubt about that. I would hope that, I would just hope this doesn't get vicious over the next few days or anything like this, and that people aren't carrying on about this on polling booths. There are much bigger issues on the table, one for housing out there, obviously, and the cost of living, which is absolutely killing people, and trying to keep our small to medium businesses open, which is really, really difficult, and they're not getting a fair go from state or federal government at all, mate.
Let's go to a policy. You've spoken a bit about salmon as well lately. You could be in a pretty important position after the election in terms of facilitating the passage of laws in the upper house. Is salmon farming going to be a top issue for you that you try to negotiate on, maybe get some change?
I can tell you salmon farming is a huge issue down here, just like the new stadium is, and you'll find 65% of Tasmanians are against both of them. Now, I would have thought that they would have learnt from the state election that when they thought these topics weren't a hot potato. They are very, very wrong down here. All people are asking in Tasmania, those people who do not want that salmon farming, is we're asking those big corporations to push your nets out further into the sea and get them out of Macquarie Harbour. Now, if that means that they've got to take a hit with their profits, then so be it. But I'll tell you what, when you are doing this at the expense of Clean Green Tasmania and its brand, I have a problem with that. So get those bloody nets and get them out in deep sea properly. So get them off the island and also get them out of Macquarie Harbour. Mate, all they care about is making profits, and they're making those profits on brand Tasmania, and it's not good enough. They're not getting away with this anymore. The people of Tasmania will win this argument. And yes, there will be votes that they will lose out there, both those major parties. I tell you what, they're not flying on the wings of the angels when it comes to salmon. And they take these donations from those salmon companies and have done for years. So you can't believe a word they're saying when it comes to salmon in Tasmania. What we know is I've seen that sludge over our beaches. I'm seeing it in Macquarie Harbour, and so are the tourists. Enough is enough. It's time for these multinationals to make less profits and get those goddamn stinky fish out into deep waters. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah, it certainly is a hot topic in Tasmania at the moment. Before I let you go, you were initially elected in partnership with Clive Palmer. I remember you both attended an ice bath challenge on the front of Parliament House one night. His trumpet of patriots group is sending out unsolicited text messages at the moment. Do we need to change the law to stop political parties spamming everyone?
You know what? This is what the majors don't want to do because they use the same method. It's just that Clive Palmer's got more money than what they have and he's spamming a lot more. It's like misinformation and disinformation. They don't want to touch this sort of stuff. The only time you'll see the major parties come together is make it when they're doing things like electoral reform, when it suits themselves and they want to try and get the independents out. That's what they do. It's absolute filth. So I think that's where we're at. But quite frankly, they won't change those laws because they do the same thing, mate. And the only reason you're not seeing them coming as thick and fast as Clive Palmer because they're not throwing quite as much money behind it as Clive is. But they're just as bad.
Yeah. Is this going to be definitely your last campaign? I think you've said if you win another 6 years, that'll be it.
Yes, mate. That's it for me, mate. I'll be 60 then. I'll tell you, I would have done 16 years. You need fresh blood. I'm sorry, but 16 years in a job, I think it's time for those young guns to come in, take positions like mine and get us into a new era and see what they've got, mate. Enough's enough. 6 years, another 6 years of Jacqui Lambie, I think people say that's enough.
All right. Jacqui Lambie, well, we've got 6 years to find your successor. Thank you very much for joining News Breakfast this morning.